It's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to serve and volley properly in singles so you can win a lot more points. Now, this video is courtesy of Matt Lynn on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his awesome channel. I put his link in the description below. So here we have Randy Liu serving, and we've got the one and only Marat Safin. I'm going to let you watch the video with sound, and then we're going to diagram it. Now, the serve and volley isn't super popular in today's game, and I really wish it would, make a resurgence because especially in the amateur ranks, it is such a great way to surprise your opponent and really put them on their heels right away. So let's talk about the concept of the serve. So you want to hit a serve that your opponent can't just tee off on. So you don't want to be hitting really light serves. Here you can see Randy hits a great serve, hits it right to the backhand, right? So if you're afraid of your opponent's forehand, don't just, give them that ball on a dinner plate that they can just crush by you, but try to hit to your opponent's weaker side. Typically, that's going to be your opponent's backhand. Now, when you serve, you want to understand what you're going to be doing with your feet. So this is what I call 1, 2, 3 split step. It's the number of steps you're going to take and then the split step that you'll take after that third step. So watch Randy's feet. There he lands his serve. So I call that step number 1. Then step 2 is right there. And then step 3, you get the idea. And then split step. The split step, you'll notice, is right in the middle of no man's land. If you play on a tennis court that has, for instance, the 60-foot lines for the 10 and under tennis, that's like this. I would have my students do this all the time on court, is I would have them actually serve and volley where it's 1, 2, 3 split and actually split step on the 60-foot line. And when you do that 60-foot baseline for kids 10 and under, if it's printed on your court and painted on your court, that's the perfect place to practice serving and volleying and doing your 1, 2, 3 split step to that line. Now, depending on how tall you are or the speed of your serve, maybe how far back your opponent is standing, you might get a little farther forward, but it's not like you're going to get all the way up to the service line by the time they make contact with the return. And you want to be split stepping around the time they contact the return. So think of it as 1, 2, 3 split step. 1, 2, 3 split step. Now, when you split step, this is going to allow you to move forward, to your left, to your right. It's even going to allow you to move back if your opponent lobs you. So I don't want you to just barrel in and run forward and try to get to the net as fast as you can. That's not going to help you with your serve and volley. You want to be methodical and a little careful with your movement when you're serving and volleying. So you actually want to split step in the middle of no man's land. Then if the ball goes down the line, Randy can make that move. If the return's cross court, he can make that move. If the ball's hit to his feet, he can split step, adjust to it, hit a half volley. You don't want to just barrel into the net. Make sure you're split stepping, even if it means it's in the middle of no man's land. So Marat hits the ball right to him, which is actually a really good play when you're playing someone who's serving and volleying, to actually hit the ball actually near them and on their body, and you're trying to hit the ball low. You want to try to get the ball below net level if you can. So he does that. He gets the ball a little bit below net level. Notice that Randy is playing his first volley from behind the service line. Again, this is just showing you that you're not supposed to get all the way up to the net, but rather you might still be behind the service line hitting your first volley. So Marat is a little slow getting back to the middle. So Randy decides to hit the ball up the line. And when he hits it up the line, notice he follows it. Now he guesses a little bit. Randy kind of guesses, and I'm surprised he actually guesses a little bit to the left. When your opponent is over here, you want to bisect where they can hit the ball. So the ball can go down the line and the ball can be hit cross court. So you want to bisect that, which really means he should be right about there. So he's a little bit over, in my opinion, too much. So he's definitely not covering the cross court. He figures, Marat's in a lot of trouble. Maybe I'm not even going to worry about the cross court. I would recommend to you to not have to worry about that calculation. Just stand slightly on the same side of where your opponent is, and that bisects the down the line and the cross court passing shot. Now, Marat does a good job of even getting his racket on this ball. Here's the second volley. Now, this is obvious. He's going to hit this ball into the open court. But I want you to notice where Randy is right now. I'm going to circle his feet. Notice where he is, because most recreational players I see in this situation who struggle with volleys, especially when the volley is quote unquote super easy and I should have missed that shot, right? I want you to notice how he moves forward and he doesn't stay where he is, right? So he's making contact with the ball right now, but look at him move through that volley and he gets even tighter to the net. You don't want to let the ball come to you, but rather you want to go forward to that ball, cutting the ball off and making sure that you give your opponent less time to get back into position, and he wins the point. So let's go over this one more time. To improve your ability to and chances of beating people who you typically can't beat, or just as a way for a surprise tactic to get to the net right off of your serve. Serve a good serve to your opponent's backhand. Typically, it's going to be their weaker side. Take 1, 2, 3 steps and then split step. If your serve goes 130 miles an hour, you might only get 2 steps. If your serve goes 70 miles an hour, you might get 4 steps. But on average, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then split step. And you're going to split step in the middle of no man's land. The first volley is most likely going to be behind the service line, right? So you're not going to be able to get all the way up to the net, especially if your opponent hits a return that's very fast. So returning serve into the open court is a good, returning that volley into the open court is a good idea, but close it off, get tighter to the net. Notice he's volleying from behind the service line, but he follows it up. He's on the same side of the court as Murat. And then he goes forward through that second volley, closing it off, not giving Murat any time to get back into position. All right, let's watch that point again in its entirety. So if you work on your serve and volley using these tactics in your next match, there is no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.